Good morning, student. Welcome back to the next section of rocks and rock cycle. We are going to continue with sedimentary rocks, page number 55. Formation. Rock formed from materials derived from pre-existing rock, parent rocks, and form organic source by process of denudation are known as sedimentary rocks. Denudation refers to disintegration and decomposition of rocks as well as the wearing away of the land's surface. So, sedimentary rocks are having the rocks which are being formed by the wearing and tearing away, the denudation process, when there is lot of heat and exposure of wind and rain or continuous, and it is eroded, that forms the rocks to decompose also, and the wearing away of the land surface. The land is uh, blown from the one end to the other end. The process of weathering and erosion. Weathering means rainfall, wind, and all these is called weathering. And erosion means by the river and water it is eroded, taken away from through river to other part. The raw material needed to form sedimentary rock. They are deposited in layers. How is sedimentary rocks formed? They are in the deposition of layers of millions and millions of years of the, the buried the materials which forms the sedimentary rock. They are deposited in layer. So, sedimentary rocks are laid down principally by sea, but also by lakes or stream or glacier or even by winds. They are therefore often known as stratified rocks, and layers are called strata. Principally, it is said that sedimentary rocks are being placed in the sea, but usually it is also found in the lakes, streams, and glacier. And sedimentary rocks are also called stratified rocks or stratas because they are having layers. One layers, you can understand the meaning of layers. Layers mean one underneath the other. Layers. Types of sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rocks may be divided into a number of types according to their sources, nature of sediments, to their origin, composition, and mode of formation. So, why it is called sedimentary? Because the nature of sediments, what type of things were deposited on this surface. So, it is having sediments on it, and the origin. When did this all these things took place? Origin, the birth, and the composition, the mixing of the things like deads of the plants, the fossils of the animals, and all these were taking place from millions and millions of years and forming into these composition, and the mode of formation, and the formation which was taking place, the decaying which was taking place. Mechanical formed rocks. Mechanical formed rocks, children, these rocks are built up by fragments of pre-existing rocks which have been produced by the process of weathering and erosion. Mechanically formed rocks means it is taking place by the condition of weathering, the temperature which is taking place, the hot and the cold, the weather conditions take place and making these rocks broken down through the process of weathering. And erosion, how the river take its course, taking the sediments of these rock from one place to another. Erosion, various agents of denudation breaks them and transport them to form new sediment rocks. So, from one place to another, when they are going, the sediments are going to the another place, they form a new sediments of rocks with mixing up of other minerals. Generally, mechanical rocks are subdivided according to the grain size of their components material. So, the materials which are existing at that particular place, it combines together and mixes up and makes a new component that is called the new mechanical sedimentary rocks. Example of mechanical rocks are colgoments, sandstone, siltstone, and shale. Types of mechanically formed sedimentary rocks. Sandstone. Sandstones is the most familiar sedimentary rocks because it is well explored, is easily recognized, and generally resistant to weathering. Sandstone is most common mechanically formed rocks. Colgomment Colgament consists of round or sub-round fragments, usually water-borne cobbles, pebbles, gravels, cemented together by a matrix of calcium, carbonate, silica, etc. These rocks which are formed is found in the water, and they are round in shape, and they are pebbles, gravels, and cemented together, and they are the mixture of calcium, carbonate, silica, and etc. Stilt stones. Stilt is a fine grained mechanical rock in which most of the mineral is 16 to 127 meter in diameter, finer than the sand but coarse than mud. Silt is material frequently carried in suspension by rivers and deposited in floodplains and delta. Silt is more smaller in size than the mud. So it is finer and it is deposited by flood. When the flood comes, it brings silt with it. And delta, it deposited in the delta region. Shale, mudstone. Shale is the most abundantly sedimentary rocks. The solidified deposit of mud and clay are known as shale. It is usually soft and weather rapidly into a slope. So relatively few fresh unweathered exposures are found. Originally formed rocks. Originally formed rock, these organically formed rocks, these organic rocks consist of the remains of the forms of the sea, plants and animals which have been buried and preserved in these rocks for a long time. These types of rocks are called fossils. So originally formed rocks are rocks which are found in the sea and the animals of the sea which are dead for quite a period of time, and these types of rocks are also called fossils. Among the organic rocks, limestone is the most abundantly non-clastic or mechanical rock. It is composed of calcium carbonate. These are called calcareous rocks. Typical example of this kind of rocks are limestone and chalk. Various kinds of decayed vegetation matter consisting of plant, twigs, etc. are buried in swamps, accumulated in great thickness. In the course of time, because of pressure and heat, they lose most of the element except carbon, which is stagnant, becomes pet, lignite or coal. These are found on the sites of swamps, forests and are called carbonious rocks. Originally formed rocks are also called carbonious rocks. Chemically formed rocks. These rocks are formed by direct inorganic minerals compounds precipitated from a salt water solution or a hard part of organism. They collect in lagoons and salt lake through evaporation. Chemically formed rocks, they are formed from lagoons and lakes. Alkaline sediment rocks. Sediments deposited after transport by winds are called alkaline deposits. Loess is the most important alkaline deposit. Glacier sedimentary rocks. The sediments deposited by glaciers are called glacier sedimentary rocks. These deposits are also known as moraines. Moraine is an accumulation of material which has been transported or deposited by ice. So these are found in the glaciers. Glacier sedimentary rocks are called moraines. Petroleum, meaning rock oil. Petroleum is a product of decay, vegetation and plant remain. Most of the petroleum of the world ocean is found sedimentary rock, particularly in a shallow marine environment. So, where is petroleum found? Where the sedimentary rocks are, in the shallow marine area. Rock salt. Rock salt is formed by evaporation of saline lakes, Dead Sea, Arenal Sea, Caspian Sea, Sambar Lake, etc. So, rock salt are found in these areas. Coal. It is also a rock of sedimentary origin. Coal is also found there. Is really a biochemical rock which very rich in carbon. During the Carboniferous period 36 to 86 million years ago, lush green vegetation flourished and died in tropical swamping. Coal was formed in these tough progressive state. Peat, lignite, bituminous, coal, etc. are formed in this way. So, coal was found when long time where there was greenery and the vegetation flourished, and when the millions 36 to 86 million years ago, when this area became arid, when this area became a place where it was found all these peat, lignite and bituminous, coal was also formed here where these lush green trees were flourishing. Characteristics of sedimentary rocks. The main characteristics of sedimentary rocks are: the material of sedimentary rocks is derived from the pre-existing permanent rocks. Rocks of any of the three rock classes, as well as form newly formed organic matter. However, igneous rock is the most important original source of the inorganic matter that forms sedimentary rock. The sedimentary rock contains layer or strata. They are therefore often known as stratified rocks. Sedimentary rocks are deposited in the sea and ocean in a sequential order. The size of the sedimentary decrease from littoral margin to the center of the water bodies, and boulders, cobble, pebbles, granules, sand, silt, clay and lime. These are the characteristics of sedimentary rocks. Most of the sedimentary rocks are permeable and porous. Rocks are porous. Sedimentary rocks contain fossils, the remnant part of the plant and animals. The age of the given rock may be determined on the basis of the study of the fossil found on the rock. So, if the dead of the animal is on the rock, we can study that when the animal died and the period which was given that particular animal, the time when it died, tells us that this particular time this rock was also formed. Sedimentary rocks are of great economic importance. In fact, they have been controlling factors in the development of the industry, society and culture. Metamorphic rocks. Metamorphic rocks are those rocks that have crystallized in a solid state as a result of change in temperature, pressure or the composition of porous fluid to such an extent that the diagnostic feature of the original rock are modified under the impact of the heat pressure, and metamorphic rocks generally become harder, denser and darker. Children, metamorphic rocks were made when it was the molten lava comes out and it crystallizes with the existing of the temperature. When the temperature is cool, the pressure makes the pores become small, and such an extent the diagnostic feature makes it original rock modify under heat and pressure make the metamorphic become harder. When it is cooling down, when the temperature is cool, it makes the temperature of the rock also cool down, so it becomes harder and it becomes denser. Denser means bigger, and darker, and the color of the rock is also changing. Course of metamorphic rocks. Metamorphism may be caused due to the volcanic eruption, the mountain building movement, endogenetic forces, contact with undergoing water. The origin of common metamorphic rock is complex. In some cases, such as quartzite, marble, and metaconglomerate, the nature of the original rock is easily determined. The metamorphism of shale can involve a series of steps depending on the intensity of temperature and pressure. Shale can change to slate, schist, or even gneiss. Metamorphic rocks can be formed from igneous sedimentary or even from previously metamorphized rock. The major type of metamorphic rocks are slate, schist, gneiss, quartzite, marble, amphibolitic, metaconglomerate, and hornfill. Characteristics of metamorphic rocks. Metamorphic rocks are formed due to the change in texture and mineral composition of the pre-existing rocks. The pre-existing rocks may be igneous, sedimentary, or even metamorphic. Some rocks after metamorphism becomes harder and the origin form. For example, marble from limestone, quartzites from sandstone, and diamond from carbon. The fossils of the original sedimentary rocks are destroyed and therefore they do not contain fossil. The coarse-grained metamorphic rocks are imperfect fossilated, example gneiss from granite, while the fine-grained metamorphic rocks are perfectly foliated, example schist and shale. Some of the metamorphic rocks are impervious, marble, slate, and some of them are pervious, example gneiss. Most gneiss metamorphic rocks comprises brand of regular quartz and feldspar. Types of metamorphism. On the basis of agencies involved, we have thermal and dynamic metamorphism, and on the basis of the extent of the area, we have contact and regional metamorphism. Thermal metamorphism. When the change takes place due to the high temperature, the new rock formed is due to the thermal metamorphism. Graphite. Dynamic metamorphism. When the change are caused due to the high pressure, it is called dynamic metamorphism. Contact metamorphism, it is related to volcanic activity when extremely hot molten magma or lava rises, passes through volcanic pipe or enter the weak points and cavities between different layers. The rocks which comes in contact with this lava are baked through the operation of heat. Marble is nothing but baked limestone. Regional metamorphism, it is associated with earth movement. Due to mountain building movement, igneous or sedimentary rocks are buried deep in the crust. The pressure of overlaying rocks and heat at the depth change these rocks. Use of metamorphic rocks. Metamorphic rocks are hosts of many important mineral deposits. Marble, slate, physiolites, quartzites, and mica are used in various types of industries and construction purpose. So children, till here we conclude our metamorphic and sedimentary rocks. So we take a little recap and we will see in our third video with rock cycle. So we see sedimentary rocks derived from the pre-existing rock, that is parent rock, and formed from organic sources by the process of denudation. Sedimentary rocks are also called stratified rocks. Metamorphic rocks are those rocks that have crystallized in a solid state. Metamorphic rock as a result of change in temperature, pressure, or the composition of pore fluid. Metamorphic rocks, the original rocks are modified. The metamorphic rocks are generally become harder, denser, and darker. So children, we come to an end of this session. We will meet in the next session. Thank you children. Please watch the video and try to read the lesson and understand it. We'll meet in the third part of this video. Thank you.